Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm back with week 4 in our little Let's Play series. So, all that's happened over the last week is Germany went inactive, so we invaded, and that's really about it. Volta invaded, and I was like, well, it's a good opportunity, let's go for the land grab. So we went for the land grab, and we got a good amount of land, although the day isn't over yet, so I'm not sure how we're going to stand, but at the moment we are sitting in 6th place. Since yesterday, we haven't actually, to be honest, captured much land. We've, got a fair bit, but it's not really that much. Belgian Congo, also one of our supposed allies, went inactive. So we went for his capital straight away. He's almost dead now, so let's go down there and have a look at that. So as you can see, that is where his capital used to be. And he's not going to last much more longer. I'm pretty sure he may actually be dead at this point. So let's have a look at our relation, or the relation. Invert it, so we're looking at people we're at war with. Yep, he's out. Somehow still has points, so I assume that he is probably out. So yeah, that's what's happening. Angola went inactive. He's active again, but by that point it was too late. We already had started attacking him. So as much as I do feel a little bad for that, if you're going to go inactive, you should really tell, your teammates, your allies, because players do not want inactive land around them. It is a hazard. So, if you're going to go inactive, tell someone that, I'm going inactive, I'll be back, so that they know not to attack you. I've had this happen many a time where a player next to me has gone active, I've moved in, they've come back, 4 days later and be like, what the hell? I was just going away on a road trip briefly, or just work. And that does suck when it happens, when you lose an ally just to lack of communication. And it is something you have to be careful to. It's happened to me quite a few times where allies have gone active, I've attacked, and they've come back. So make sure that you do tell people when you go inactive. If I plan on going inactive, I let people know. I don't say, hey, I'm going to be inactive from this time to this time. I just say, hey, I may go inactive over this period, I will be back. And that is generally enough. Like, you don't want to lose allies, and it is a huge strain to attack someone you're close to. Like, if you look at my borders at the moment, I don't have any troops on Volta's border. I don't need to. We're allies. I shouldn't have to. So, if he was to go inactive, it takes a huge amount of time for me to rally my troops back up onto this border so I can attack him. And if he all of a sudden comes back just before I attack, then my troops are now on his border, not defending my own. So, it can be a huge hassle. So the troops I sent up to Germany were the troops that were in these fortifications up along here. I'm not too worried about leaving these fortifications empty, as the United Kingdom, or England basically, went inactive. Oh, he's inactive. Went inactive and is inactive. He came back briefly, but he's gone inactive again. So I'm not too concerned with him attacking me, although it could happen, as he has been on and off. But once I have finished with Germany, that will be the next goal. So at the moment up here, there's not much land left to take. There's a few little bits up here, and then Copenhagen, if I'm pronouncing that rightly. That bomber has been a little bit annoying, but other than that, everything's going all good. So I've just started building the runway network up, so it should nearly be complete. How far up can we get these planes? Yeah, that's far enough. That's all we need, because we need to bomb these units out, or else we're not going to be able to get in there and take it. But as you can see at the moment, there's anti-air, and anti-air is really annoying when you need to bomb stuff out, because I can't send troops in there at the moment, or they're going to die. Put easy. So this is, one of the best times to use rockets, and sadly we don't have a research slot free, and we only have level 1. So it's not really worth it. To be honest, this isn't really what I use rockets for in the first place. I usually use them for defense, but this is a perfect opportunity if you have them. Sooner or later the AI will get bored and send out the troops to attack, in which case they're going to get slaughtered, because I have the advantage on the planes. As you know, they have the advantage, they've got more armor than me. So they have the advantage on the planes, but once they send them out, it'll be a little more of an even battlefield, as they'll be fighting on my ground and they will be on attack and not defense. Although I'm pretty sure for all of these units, attack and defense points are the same. And I'm right, so it doesn't make too much of a difference, but it may give me some time to get troops up there. So Copenhagen will probably be Germany's last stand. So England's inactive at the moment, and we all know that inactive players do not attack other players. It's unless they're already at war. So I'm in no rush to do anything about United Kingdom, but we will have to very shortly, and like I said, that's the next thing. So I want to start off by, like you do with all inactive players, is getting right away. So change your relation to right away, and shortly they will do the same. And then I'll march on in and just place troops on every individual piece of land I can, and then hopefully take it in one quick and fast sweep. So that is one way to deal with inactive players. It's fast, takes a little bit of time, a lot of troops, but it beats having to take one piece of land at a time. So my navy is built up to the level I want it at the moment. As you can see, we've got a little more oil now, and our oil production is okay. I'm just waiting for that group of ships to come back towards land so I can stock them with naval bombers, and then they'll be good to go. I've got another fleet down here at the moment. We're about to do a little bit of land grab, take some land from Angola. He doesn't need it anymore, he's dead, basically. So that's what we're going to be doing at the moment, and I'm just going to send these ships to start picking off other ships of Angola's, because once a player goes inactive after they've been defeated, these ships do remain. And I constantly run into the problem where they have one or two subs or a couple of destroyers, or even if you're on like a battleship and you run into that from time to time, it's a huge hindrance. Especially if you're sending convoys of troops back and forth. If you run into a battleship with a convoy, it's not going to end well. So at the moment we need to really keep an eye out for these ships, and we need to find them, hunt them down, and destroy them. So although we're not at war with him yet, it is a really good time to scout these out. We already know that there's cruisers and destroyers up here, so we need to figure out what these two groups are. It'll be easier to destroy this one first because it's further away and easier to keep track of at the moment. Over the last few days as well during this week, I've been working reasonably hard to get oil up to a good standard. I'm still not too happy with how oil production's going. It is going good, but it could be going better. I don't really want to spend too much of my resources on building industrial complexes as I need rear to upgrade. But considering the next research slot becomes free in one day, and in that day I'll make 6,000, roughly 6,000 rear, I can probably afford to upgrade to, build two industrial sites. So let's start construction of those. That'll take some time, and in the meantime on the other spots we just build forts. Forts increase morale, and increased morale increases production. So although fortifications doesn't directly affect resource production, it does always come back around and help out. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, just building up oil. And in places like this where the morale is really low, it really does help. As you can see, the place with the lowest morale at the moment, this one here is only producing 644 oil. Yet, a place at full morale is producing almost double that. So if we can raise that morale, we can make a huge difference to our production. Looks like I missed a piece of land up here. It looks like it's free, so I'll just send that up there to take it. So picking up the last few lands, that capital is pretty clear, so I'm going to take that, as I've already said. But there's not really much else happening. I've been patrolling the water as much as I can, just making sure Greece doesn't pull any tricks on us, and this guy whose name I cannot pronounce, country's name I cannot pronounce, is doing a lot of scouting. While I don't think he will attack me, I think he's just keeping an eye out, he has been attacked at the moment by South America. And this does seem like a very odd place to attack, but North Ural, West Yucca? I don't know. Whoever that is has come to his aid to help him out. And I don't know what South America, South Argentina, which is a South American country, is doing that far away from home. Like, regardless of how you look at it, it is a long way to get from here all the way up to here. What's the point of that? Like, you're not going to be able to uphold a steady level of morale there. Whatever you do there, you're going to need to build forts to keep morale high. You'll be limited to how many players you can be at war with at once, and it's just not going to work. It just doesn't make sense. That's why initially, when these players down here went active, I was hesitant to go in there and take the land, as the other players around the area are better suited to take it, as they can uphold a higher morale there and make more use of the land. But I'm greedy and we need the points to win, so I'm going to go and take the land. It's also the same reason why at the moment I really want to get a good hold on Spain and what was France, as these are closer to my core, so I can uphold a better morale, and it just works. It just works. I can get more out of it than any other player in the area can. So after we take out United Kingdom, the next best thing to do might actually be to take out this guy. He is part of the coalition that is NATO. NATO over the last few days has kind of fallen apart. It was the biggest coalition in the game, but England went inactive, Germany went inactive, they killed France, which was, a bad idea in the first place, and Finland went inactive, so they're killing him. So they're crumbling, they don't have much left, but our biggest threat in terms of coalitions is the United Americans. They do have a fair bit of power, control a lot of land, and they are right across the Atlantic Ocean, which is never a good thing, eh? Although it is good to have an ocean boundary between us, and my coalition does have a very small grasp in the area, you kind of want more. We don't want to be, bordering in this sort of way. So if we do get attacked, the best thing to do would be to send this naval convoy all the way back up to the Caribbean and probably invade the Caribbean. And once we have a foothold there, then we can do a lot more. Due to the design of how I group these, this is actually a very diverse unit and is pretty really combat effective. 7 destroyers defends against subs. The cruisers help with everything. They have okay attack against ground units, but their main use is anti-air, and they also help buffer defense against submarines and ships, so they just kind of help out everywhere, to be honest. But their main defense is air. Now, you don't really think that air is too much of a threat at sea, but the use of carriers now, and how people have been using them, they do help a lot. So 5 cruisers, in theory, if I get attacked, should be able to take out anything real easy. And considering, you've also got the effect of the destroyers anti-air and battleships anti-air, and the cruisers, I think carriers actually have pretty good anti-air as well. So it really does help, and it will limit our opposition's effect to use planes on that battle group. And because it has 3 battleships in there and 5 cruisers, it is pretty effective against ships. So one thing I do need to do is I need to keep upgrading battleships and cruisers to get that extra range, because once I have that extra range, and with the upgrades your ships become faster, you can evade and use hit and run tactics a lot more effectively, because if you have the extra range that you get with upgrading battleships, at level 1 it is 50, and I think around level 4 it gets boosted to 70. Yeah, 70. Maybe it's level 3 it gets boosted to 70, but either way, but yeah, level 4 gets boosted to 70. So that extra 20 kilometer range makes a huge difference in combat. As at that point you can use hit and run tactics on other battleships. You can just get within that within that little extra range, fire, and because you're upgraded, you're faster, you can run, they can chase, they won't catch you, and then an hour later, you just fire again, and as long as you keep your distance, you're all good. It's making those small things matter the most, that give you the biggest advantage. So that's really all I can say. Once cruisers get their upgraded range as well, they get 50 kilometers, and they have the same range as a low tier battleship, and that also makes a good difference as well. And that just means that obviously they can, if a battleship attacks at its max range, a low level one anyway, the cruisers will fire back in response and defense. So having 5 of them is really, really useful, especially when they are in use. Destroyers, they're mainly there for defense against subs. If I'm going somewhere really, really foreign, like if I was to send it across here, I would send a few subs. Obviously at this point I don't have many subs, and it's something that actually I'll start building now. Subs are really important. I don't use them too much to attack, although I have to admit I do that. Their main use to me is to protect these ships. You know, if I send them into a one-way area, like if I was to send them into here, for example, I'd keep the submarines right here and send the battleships into here, so that, although that is a stupid idea in the first place, send it into a place like this, if enemy ships try enter more submarines to take out the ships, they get stuck on the submarines, and then my destroyers can fire back while I split the battleships and the cruisers, and they can continue to fire whatever I'm firing at on the land around. So that's the main use there, and that has happened before. When I was down in this little alcove down here in another game, is my battleships and cruisers were all stuck in here, but I had subs right here which saved the day. Lost all the subs and a few ships, but the opposition lost 33 submarines, so it was a good trade-off. So that's really all that's happening in this game at the moment. So we'll pop back in a week's time. Well, I'll continue popping back over the week, of course, to play. But that is about it. So by the time you come back and you see me again in this game, hopefully United Kingdom and its territories will be under our control, Germany will be dead, and things will be looking up. So that is about it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.